You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line.
Do not forget. Expect us.
This is a message to all supporters. A message to all freedom fighters, to all dissenters, to all forgotten. A call to all intellectuals, to all journalists. A call to all freethinkers. A call for intelligence. This is a call to all poets. A call to the strong and the weak. A call to all young people. To the wise, to the astucious. We want you to join us. We are on the streets of Tokyo. In the skyscrapers of New York. In the lanes of Paris. In the cellars of Munich. On Moscow's icy places. On the cobbled streets of Dublin. This is a call to all people. To the youth. Join us in the fight for freedom of information. Search for us, and you will find us. We are among you. We are you. Everyone you speak with can be a member of Anonymous. We have no leaders, only an orientation. We have no targets, only results. You cannot stop us, because we are an idea. We cannot be eliminated, because we are invisible. If you try to mock us, we will mock ourselves. If you try to slander us, we will accept the defamation. We are the king's jesters with daggers. We are the dancing bear which tears to pieces the laughing mob. We are Anonymous. We are Legion. We do not forgive. We do not forget. Expect us, just as we expect you.
You let one ant stand up to us.
councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
intro's done.
And we are live. Welcome to Anonymous Bites Back, episode 131. Happy Thanksgiving weekend. We're making up for not being on Thursday. God, what the fuck?
And beer.
What the fuck were we talking about before?
There's a lot of things.
I think we
Weed
would like.
stock,
I think we should.
Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'd like to go right into fucking to Assange. I mean, I don't know how many people know how serious this is. And for all the clapping and high-fiving, Mueller this, Mueller that, and defending your rights and all this bullshit, right? He's also in the middle of an investigation for Adrian Assange for all sorts of crimes that they're just pinning on him.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, it shows how dirty the FBI really is, right? How dirty these organizations really are. Even though they're coming out and, everybody, they're fighting for your freedoms and this and that. Well, definitely not your First Amendment right.
Yeah.
Or Second Amendment if they want to push that.
Well, they really don't care about any of them when you get to brass tacks. I mean, it's
no. I mean, look, Trump posts about the Second Amendment because that gets him, to people that that won't pay attention to anything else that's going on. As long as you say it. Right, as long as you come out and say those words or post about it, they think that you give a shit about them. They don't. At the end of the day, they are happy with not only gun violence, but the struggle over it, because they don't really care about any of it. They just want to sell you guns, right? They don't, right? They need the turmoil. They don't want you to come up with any solutions. They don't need any of that. We need you to be as scared as fuck, so you will buy guns and then argue over them. Right? That's what we need you to do.
That's what they were doing, man. I went a little shopping Friday afternoon, and there was lines galore for guns, man. I didn't see any. There's as long the line of gun shops as there was GameStop.
Well, yeah, and look, there was a you see it across the net, and there'll be these people that'll post, they're putting a limit on how many rounds you can buy, a limit on this, a limit on that, a limit on that. So I called Walmart and said, look, how many rounds can I buy a day? And they said, okay, any orders over 5,000 rounds of any ammo that they have, right? You have to wait a day in between and then tell them when you have to pick them up, right? But there's no shortage. I can buy 10,000, you know what I mean, at every fucking Walmart in my area, but yet they spin that fear, right?
Yeah, there are guys. I know guys that will buy in bulk. They will buy that kind of shit.
Oh, you can buy, if you're not, that's just Walmart's policy. If you want to go out and buy 1 million rounds from fucking Armor Corps or wherever the fuck you want to go from it, you can.
Raytheon, Halliburton.
Once you get over 10,000 rounds, though, it's they can call you an armory, and then they can come SWAT team you at any time just because you got 10,000 rounds. If you want to play that game, so you need to get them on the sly because they are keeping track of your shit.
Oh yeah, like what? I mean, there are. It's not like it's kind of like there is no shortage of.
I mean, just be smart about it, Like,
we're running out of bullets. We are not running out of bullets. Okay, I know people that are on that have you know what? Fuck all of this. Like, there are plenty of bullets. There are no shortage of bullets. I can probably get bullets faster than I can get water.
Or you can go the other way around and just make your own bullets. They're not that hard if you have a press and a machine.
And you can recap 3 times.
It's cheaper to make your own bullets, to be honest.
Don't use steel rounds either. They jam up unless you lube them.
Oh, have you ever used those refries? The ones that they use where they just put the shit back into the ones that are used.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Yeah, those things are dangerous as fuck.
Yeah, really.
You might have.
You want to make sure you want to make sure that the guy that you buy these rounds for has the long enough and pointy enough beard that you can trust your ammunition.
Usually, I only see.
It doesn't matter what it doesn't matter
though.
what race you're going to, whether he is a redneck, whether he is Al Qaeda. If you're buying handmade rounds, his beard better be long and pointy, right? Don't go to one of these. Like, if he's got a beard like mine, don't trust that dude, man. He don't know how to make bullets. Jim Bob, Abdullah, they know how to make some fucking rounds.
Well, that's interesting because that was one of Gaddafi's thing. He says, "Watch." He always said, "Watch out for the bearded ones."
Oh, I always say that. Look, if you're not, you should not have a long, pointy beard like that unless you're a wizard. If you ain't a wizard, I don't fucking trust you. Right? Because nobody that has one of those long, pointy beards comes up with any good ideas. It has to do with like genocide and murdering each other. Doesn't matter what. You don't have to put a religion on it. Like, look at him when he runs in, long, pointy beard. Nah, you want to murder somebody, don't you? But if he comes in and says, "Hey, I am the great wizard from the north," you're like, "Oh, I like this guy."
I was going to say,
crops grow.
Except for the Amish, they're like the
rabbis, the rabbi beards.
I'll let you.
I don't trust you, Rabbi.
We all know the Amish don't count. No, look, I'm going to be honest with him. I'm going to be like, Rabbi, how do you feel on Gaza? If he says anything other than genocide, yep, this is the wrong kind of pointy beard.
Actually, a lot of the religious Jews who, Hasidic Jews are against Zionism and the blockade on Gaza.
I don't even have to. I'm not even going down that road. That puts a whole fucking bullshit thing on it. I don't give a fuck about all that. I asked a simple question: Gaza genocide? No, fuck off.
Yeah, that's probably the quickest way to get shut down on any of our platforms too. They're already red flagging like big time just talking about it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
It's anti-Semitism. No, I love the Jews. What the fuck are you talking about? Come on. Quit being stupid.
Yeah, I was going to say,
you don't like our beards? What was that, bro?
I'm talking about murdering innocent children. Get fucked.
Hanukkah is coming.
Yeah.
That was my Trump impression. I love the Jews.
I wouldn't doubt if he was Jewish.
Well, they've adopted it.
He's always pushing that, like, oh, hey, I've got no native in my blah, 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 blah. I want to see the DNA test. I bet you sure as fuck there's some dirtiness in there.
Are you?
I bet you his family story is nothing what it really is. Come on.
His name is Drunk from Dusseldorf. So apparently he might have had some Jew in him. I mean, Hitler did, didn't he?
Yeah, Hitler was I believe he was like 80% Jewish.
I don't think that was really what he was known for, though.
Well, his mother was Jewish. That makes him Jewish.
Yeah, for sure. But even as far as I think, just there was some other things going on there besides his Jewish heritage that bring Hitler's name to mind.
Yeah. Gas.
I guess that matters, but doesn't. Like it's just like I don't know, hypocritical. Is it hypocritical? I don't know. Like when you're talking about mass genocide, is it hypocritical?
Well, conquest is conquest. I mean, it was collateral damage, right? I mean, come on, you can't take over the world without somebody getting pissed off. Yeah.
Like the people that are living there. Fuck.
Yeah, the guys that you roll over in the tanks, they're going to be a little pissed off. Like, what the fuck?
Can you just not be oppressed and be fucking happy about it?
Just be depressed and not be angry.
God.
Drink your vodka.
Especially if there's a tank running you over. Yeah.
Not like it's it goes to a point here where it's like there's no respect. You can't be thankful. I know how like recently fucking our buddy Trump posted about Afghanistan and he was all like, without the support, they were supposed to be happy that you illegally invaded their country? Like, thanks guys. Like maybe in the beginning you could spin that story, but eventually people are unhappy that you illegally invaded their country and murdered all their friends. Right? That's not a good way.
Afghanistan throughout history has been run by the tribes, not by this new democracy that's been around,
There is no more Afghanistan. The Russians have wiped all the Afghanis out, man. There's no natural Afghanis no more.
Well, I mean, the last ones that were there, I think we've done. I mean, there's nothing left. I've been there. There ain't nothing left.
Yeah, one of my friends, he was stationed in Kabul. I haven't heard from him in a while.
We've helped them about as much as we help a lot of countries, right? Libya. I mean, it's a long list now. We helped Syria out. We're helping all these guys out.
Yeah, don't you feel the freedom?
Can't you tell?
Can you feel the freedom and democracy? I feel the freedom and democracy. It's nothing but love. It's nothing but love. I just found out, and I was in the military. I just found out we make an F-15, right? The F-15 SA model, which is an F-15 that we make specifically for Saudi Arabia. It's got, I guess, all the controls and shit are in Arabic.
Oh.
Yeah, are those the ones? Are those the ones that ship off to Yemen?
I mean, I don't like. Okay, like it's not like we can look around the world. Like, what are these being used for? You know damn well what they're being used.
Yeah,
for.
yeah. They fight a war in Yemen. Yeah, yes.
Well, we give them our old stuff. We refurb it. You know, pass it off to them.
This one isn't even. You know. This isn't even like a refurbished one. This is one we make specifically brain spanking new for them.
Oh shit! Well. Yeah, I mean, they're not going up against anybody with any real Air Force. I mean, even if you got an outdated, 50-year-old F-15, I mean, you're still, you're.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, you can bomb the fuck out of innocent children with an F-15 all day. What they don't have.
They really, that's what's getting me is just like, man, there's no chivalry or anything anymore. It's just like, I mean, we'll bomb, schools and school buses and
this
medics.
Like a yellow. This was like your standard yellow school bus. Now, to be fair, we just call it cutting the grass. So when you kill small children, rather than say it on the mic that you are lighting up 10-year-olds, right? You call it cutting the grass. So you're cutting them off before they turn into weeds or whatever you want to call it. But we do that too. But I mean, come on, guys. This was like a blatant fucking school bus.
It reminds me of that Alyssa Milano commercial. What would you do if you see a small child? Bomb!
Drop those bombs, baby!
Get the okay. You have the okay. Just do it.
Well, look, guaranteed. I just blew up their entire family. Those kids are going to turn into to hate us, right? That is the future army of the people that are going to rise up against you. Obviously.
Yeah, hey, you killed my mom and dad.
Oh shit!
Yours.
Look, man. To be honest, I'm a pretty non-violent dude. If you blew up one of my kids on their fucking school bus, oh my god, there would be an IED in every fucking part of that country in such a heartbeat. Holy shit!
Very fast.
Oh my god, I would spend my entire fucking being to do nothing but fucking murder you every single day. Every single day. If you blew up one of my kids in a school bus, are you fucking shitting me? And then you expect people to have any other reaction? Well, why don't they like us? Because you blew up his kid in a fucking school bus, man.
Yeah,
they hate our democracy.
I really don't
That's
get
the
DOD's plans or whatever the fuck that they plan. They call it Operation Freedom and blow up everything.
Okay, so what you do is you create people that absolutely hate you, and then you sell them weapons. And then you go back to your country and you say, hey, these guys have guns and hate you. You also need bigger guns. And you just keep that, wash and repeat. Until the people get tired of it, which seems to be like never. It's 2018. Well, I don't know. At what point you're gonna get the when are we gonna get the point?
Well, that is the point. I mean, we use proxies when we convince them that it's really their other bad guys. They know we're there, but they hate them somehow more than us, and so they keep fighting.
Yeah, it's
a hell of a deal. It's crazy. I mean. I don't know how we get away with some of the shit we do.
At a certain point, you'd think we'd be like, okay, all right, everybody stop. You feel like it's the throwing the rocks in Life of Brian, when you're all like, everybody just stop throwing rocks. I don't care who says Jehovah, all right? Everybody just calm the fuck down. But it doesn't quite work that way. They never seem to work that out.
Well, yeah, just long enough to reload, and then we can hit each other again. If you run out of bombs or, like the Gaza, it takes them a while to get all those rockets and everything, so that they can throw 1,000 of them out there. Make them overnight.
Obviously, the government does not have our best interests in mind. Here's the deal. For all of our like inside guys that are listening and recording and all of that shit, right? So I understand that you guys have to have it in secret meetings and all of that stuff. So just let us look at it, right? The Anonymous Bites Back show. And if we feel that it's like a good idea to go to war, we'll totally okay it. Like, we won't tell everybody. We'll just say, hey, we looked over the FBI things. Turns out, like, these are the places that there's terrorists. We definitely needed to kill those children, right? Just run it through us first. No?
I don't want to be responsible for that. I mean,
Well, because the answer will always be no. It's the answer. You go through into a room full of generals, right? Like they got that long table with all the generals, and I don't know why they waste time. Like you could just say, "Hey, war," right? Right? War. Everybody, we agreed. War.
Yeah,
Have they ever said anything other than war? Like, has any of these guys, like, they just gave them the permission to, like, execute fucking asylum seekers on the thing. Like, the military didn't have enough power. Has there ever been a time where they came out and said, "Whoa, guys, we have way too much"?
They've already actually let not all, but some of those people through already. They're letting them through slowly. You know, they're getting a full pat down, fucking strip search.
Yeah, I'm sure, but they're gonna at a certain point. There's a couple of things. Do we want to talk about fucking Mexico? Are you serious, Mexico? In Tijuana, they are protesting the asylum seekers.
Yeah, you know, here's the deal with that. Here's the only thing I have problems with. You know, with the troops being on there is the violation of the Constitution for Posse Comitatus that Trump is trying to enforce, and he's basically pissing on the Constitution, you know.
Well, every time they're asking for more power, they're pissing on the Constitution. Whether it be this, whether it be to start a draft, whether it be every time, you know, to the Patriot Act, terrorism, whatever they put, any time that the government and military are asking for more power than they have already been given by the Constitution, right? They're pissing on it. And that has us with no military, right? A militia. They specifically did not want a military. Well, so, I mean, every time the government's asking for more power, they're pissing on the Constitution.
Well, what I don't understand is like last time we let them come over the border and then we put them in the ICE facilities. Now we're asking Mexico to fucking house them. And,
yeah, but Mexico.
And then Mexico said we're not doing this, and he's calling the UN. The UN's probably not going to do anything. You know.
Well, no, the UN isn't going to. Okay,
they're saying drop the border.
Look, yeah, I'm normally like for the open borders as far as you guys are concerned and all that shit. But Mexico, what the fuck are you guys doing? Right? Like how
Tijuana, yeah, that's a dangerous place if you're not around. I mean, even they were saying that that they're more in danger in Tijuana than they were on any place they were on the caravan.
Why would Mexico be protesting immigrants? Look, if Mexico is protesting immigrants, fair enough. Y'all need to build the fucking wall. I fucking quit. I quit. Mexico needs to build the fucking wall. If that's how they feel about immigrants.
Well, yeah. That's the truth. See, they don't want them, but they would allow them to pass through. That's the deal. If they're going to stay there, then fuck no, they're not for it. So the truth comes out. They're not prepared to handle that many people that fast. They have less than we do. So you're going to expect them to feed. It's like, come on.
Could you imagine 10,000?
Mexico has
10,000 asylum court dates that you got to do. That's gonna, and how much processing you got to do. How many judges do they probably have? Like 10. Like
yeah, okay,
that's
fine.
Gonna take,
fuck it.
That's gonna take. They will literally be stuck on the border for like 6 months to 18 months for all this shit.
These are man-made problems for man-made fucking borders. Like these are all the issues that come with man-made borders. All right, so that's gonna take court cases, and you'll have to stay in this man-made prison that we got to spend fucking money on because we don't know where to fucking hold you and blah blah blah. These are all man-made problems. They're not actual problems, right? Do the fucking thing. See if they're a fucking criminal. If they're not, let them live their life. But we'll build this entire system that we complain about not working because it's an unnatural system.
See,
why do we have to be the job engine for everybody? Why is that the deal? Why can't they stay where they came from?
I don't know.
Well, because
Honduras. Honduras, I know they have economic problems and there's gangs basically infiltrating everything.
Well, we know some in California.
Yeah, well, no, but not in the way that like the CIA and CIA fucking trained like drug cartels are in South America. So I mean, it's not like we're saying, hey, look, guys, this is not our problem. We had nothing to do with it, right? Fiji can say, hey, we don't want to take any fucking refugees from South America. Right, but America has taken full advantage of South America, from gang wars to real wars to undermining to assassinations to fucking. I mean, it's countless atrocities.
Dropping guns to the Contras.
Yeah, and then being like, whoa, why are you guys running? Right, we ain't got time for this. You know, so I mean, it's not like our hands aren't extremely dirty. We almost owe it to these people. We created the situation that they're running from.
Some of them
say, okay, next UN resolution is we will have troops on the ground in Venezuela to keep the peace, and you guys can stay there.
Well, that's why. Yeah, I mean, look at Brazil. They're good. They're going more militarized too. There's going to be a big conflict real soon.
I am sure America wants to. We want to, you know, for really economic reasons, right? We've got companies that have billions of dollars that they would like to make off of this wall. We will build an enemy in South America if we have to.
Well, we run off of wars. America does, you know.
So I mean, if we have to make an enemy in South America, we will. We will train terrorists. We will do everything that we can to make sure that we create the situation that gets us so we make those people that money. I mean, at the end of the day, the argument about the wall has nothing to do about immigration, has nothing to do about any. It has to do with the billions of dollars and hundreds of billions of dollars in contracts that they have set up to build it. And most of it will never get built.
That is probably the truth.
Yeah, because there's no oversight, right? I mean, they don't keep track, so especially if it's military. I mean,
the longest, most oppressive, empires on the planet only really last 1,000 years, and they really, you know, you can say China, but China's changed so much over 10,000 years that their governments have switched over too. You know, at the end of the day, in 500 years, chances are these borders will look nothing like they do today. Right? The Ottoman Empire and every border that they murdered to the end of their fucking being, right, doesn't even exist today. All of the Germans and Englishmen that fought over the Great Germanic Empire and fucking the Austro-Hungarian Empire, all the millions of people that died for those borders don't exist at all.
That is true.
Yeah.
And those aren't even like long historical, right? We're talking end of World War I. End of World War I
20 years.
Was the end of the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. Right, that's World War I. That's less than 100 years.
100 years.
Yeah, the American Empire is in decline, and we got America's got to get its shit together.
Yeah, we got to get our shit together. I don't think that we're in decline. We're being held back. There's a difference.
No, we're in decline. The stocks are dropping.
Fuck, well, a bunch of rich people lost money. I don't give a fuck. Oh no. Google stocks are down. You own any Google stock?
No.
Yeah. That's the great point because it's Main Street. I mean, Main Street hasn't done worth a shit since about 1985, 1990. It's been pretty much flat since then. So you're losing with inflation. You know, you're slowly getting squeezed. Yeah, the rich guys are making money, but if you don't own, like you say, you don't own stock, you ain't in the market. What is it to you? You're just going to be a flag and banner waver for Wall Street? You know, what the fuck?
Did you hear that George Soros pulled his stocks 2 days before the crash?
Oh, no shit.
He probably crashed it.
Yeah, I mean, well,
yeah. You mean he?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. I'm sure the Koch brothers moved their money around. The Rothschilds moved their money around. I'm sure all the people that make billions and trillions of dollars off of the losses of the stock markets move their money around. They call them and say, hey, there's going to be a 500 point drop tomorrow. There's algorithms out there that figure out futures up to 200-300 years out into the future. They're illegal for you and I to have, but you're telling me the Soroses and the fucking
he gets insider trading. Insider trading.
Well,
it's like
plus they're rigging the market. I mean, don't forget that.
Well, of course, when you're swapping around billions on stocks, you're like, hey man, I'm gonna pull this shit out. You better pull out too.
Yeah,
that's what she said.
Yeah,
no, it's bad.
Yeah, now it's becoming into Soros Zuckerberg smear campaign. So Zuckerberg was trash talking Soros, and Soros was trash talking fucking Facebook. I thought that those two were on the same page, but it was kind of funny seeing those two.
I'm sure. I hate to be the one to tell poor fucking Zuckerberg this, but you're not going to win that fight. Reason that we can,
his investors. I didn't talk about this. The major investors in Facebook want Sheryl Sandberg and Mark Zuckerberg to step down, and they won't.
Yeah, for now.
Well, she was Secretary of Defense at one time, anyway. So
I know.
Is that right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Hillary Clinton was
Holy
was looking for that position as well. But yeah, I mean,
that's true. Yeah,
yeah,
she did
so
say
I-
that.
I think, to be honest, that is right up her alley.
Well, they're going to get fucked. The UK courts, our parliament, got the documentation that they need for all of that Russian interference shit, or what was the Cambridge Analytica? They just took it from them from a court order. Like Facebook is fucked. Like,
They're playing both sides, and sooner or later you're going to get hung doing that. And I'm fine with that because he's a total prick, so it's okay.
He thinks
I'm not
he
gonna
thinks
defend
he,
him.
he thinks that he thinks that he can run the company through this shit. Every time he opens up his mouth, his stock price drops. You know.
Yeah, but I mean that's exactly what we're talking about. Like every time the person that's oppressing us loses a little bit of money, it's national news. Good.
he literally thought, he acquired, every company that he's acquired, they have the main creators have left. He acquired WhatsApp creator left. He acquired Oculus. He fucked over the fucking guys who created Oculus. The two founders, the founder left. They bought Instagram, and then he now Zuckerberg wants to focus more on Instagram because Facebook is fucking in decline. And the two founders of Instagram left. Like he.
Okay, he's a dick. Let's just establish that right now. For what you just said right there, their corporate structure and those guys are not dicks. It's obvious. They don't get along with any. I mean, even if you're taking over a company, you want it to keep running well. You don't get rid of the guys that made it. I mean, that's crazy.
Well, Zuckerberg basically fucked the Oculus because they had different plans of making it a better product, and Zuckerberg wanted the minimal progress for max profits, which is not what people who have the Oculus want. They want a better product,
I love how they go into any industry, whether it's the tech industry that doesn't really build, that kind of mindset, no matter what it is, you'll be like, oh, we're an influential, new, inventive company. What should you do? Maximize profit. Like exactly what you hate about every corporation is what they always come in and tell you.
Yeah, Zuckerberg wanted, WhatsApp was founded on, well, they weren't. I mean, they kind of were. We're founded on encryption and a little higher security than some of the other platforms are. I'm not saying it's that secure at all, but Zuckerberg wanted a way to incorporate user data to post ads on WhatsApp, and the creator fucking left. He's like, "What the fuck is this shit about?" This is a messaging and calling program. Why should we be focused on user data and that's kind of like a breach of fucking
It's not like everything that Zuckerberg has ever made has always been data collection. That's where the money's at. Whether he loses, Facebook goes up and down, he's still a multi-billionaire.
Yeah, but
right, he can still sell that information.
Why would he want user data on calls? That's the thing that worries me.
Well, they want it all, and it's about control. I mean, I don't know why these people, if they were concerned about what was going to happen, like after they sold out to Facebook, then you shouldn't have fucking sold out to Facebook. Duh. Are you, it's like, yeah, they threw a bunch of cash in front of you and you took it.
Well, that's it. They threw a bunch of cash at you.
Yeah, I mean, so get lost. Like now you're worried about WhatsApp. Well, you should have been worried about that before you sold it. I mean, if it was about WhatsApp or Instagram or whoever was selling out, after you sell it off to Facebook and Zuckerberg, now you're worried about it. It gets serious.
Yeah, that's a good, I think that's a really good point. For a lot of these companies that they get bought out, or they'll, same with Tesla. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where, okay, then don't do that. Don't sell your shit out. Don't sell out to the man. Continue doing what you're doing and providing people the product that they're wanting. But you saw that little bit of money. They said, oh, well, you're only making a couple $1 million. Here's $1 billion. Walk away from your, your dream, your platform, right? The voice of the people. Don't do that. Don't sell out.
yeah. GitHub, don't sell out. Hey, but you know what? I got to be honest. If I was, at GitHub and they threw $7.5 billion in front of me, I'd take it. I mean, I'm I'm just weak
Are
that
you
way.
kidding me? I would
You know,
immediately go out. I would immediately go out on my platform and be like, these assholes just offered me $1 billion, and I'm not taking it. Stick with us. Fuck them. Right? Fight the system. Right?
All right, let's take a vote of who's actually believing Terrence right now.
Terrence, $7.5 billion is a lot of money.
That you can kiss my, look, and that's the deal. If I could come out right now and be like, and show the email of somebody offering me $7 billion, and you told them to go fuck themselves, you'd have $7 million in your $7 billion in your GoFundMe. Yeah. People would fucking love that. What'd you tell them? I told them to go fuck themselves.
You're either going to be like the super genius, you know, George Washington type guy of all time, or you're going to be like the biggest fool there ever was. It's like you.
Oh yeah,
like
I'm
really
going to die.
Up.
I'm going to die. I'm going to die broke and alone in my bed.
It's going to be a cremation, huh? At least donate to science.
Yeah.
But let's look at the other side. I mean, if you did take that money, you could stir up all kinds of havoc on the pipelines. I mean, you guys are already doing it. I mean, so just imagine. I mean, if you had that kind of backing.
Yeah, but you know, damn, like that's the point. Like, if I ever did take that kind of money, it's a double-edged sword. They know they're going to give me that much money, and they know what I'm going to use it for. It's not like, you know, these guys. They get it, and they got Ferraris and houses and new girlfriends and boob jobs and fucking boats and all of that shit. Like, I'd get $1 billion and be like, oh, guys, just come on. I've just bought Blackwater, right? So y'all can go home. Yeah, don't worry about protecting the pipelines. I could just go to the pipelines at that point and be like, dude, how much are they paying your ass to be here? Oh, $40,000. I got fucking I got school loans to pay. I'll pay off your school loans. Fuck off. Next.
Hold on. You said it right. It's child support. You said it right. Don't lie. Come on. Student loans. Yeah, that's what every construction worker has is student loans.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure with the like cops have such a high fucking divorce rate. I bet you half of the guys that are there because to pay off fucking back child support.
Yeah,
that's a different story there.
I don't even want to be here. I like the water protectors, man, but this bitch is gonna get me fucking fired, put me in fucking jail.
Take my license. I can take my home. Like, these motherfuckers here fighting me for the same shit.
So in order to save my home, I have to hit one of these natives over the head. I'll do it. Yeah, we're okay with that.
Kind of that gun, one of them gun to your head things.
Look, some of these guys are not the brightest, you know, are not the sharpest tools in the box, right? So I mean, there's not a lot that they can do. Like, look, I'm gonna be hitting somebody in the head. They just happen to be paying me for it now. They don't have any life skills. I'm kind of an asshole. Nobody likes me.
Might as well hit yourself over the head and say, "Hey, he done it."
Well, I mean, as long as the chief says, you know, handle the situation. It's like, okay, we handled it. You know, it's like he told us it's a problem. You are going to cover for us, right? Oh yeah. Okay, well.
Yeah. Fuck, we'll cover for you. Don't worry about it. Don't you worry.
Throw some dirt over your ass.
Well, that depends. If they look at you and tell you the words, yeah, don't worry about it, we'll cover for you, that means you are ass out and they will act like they have never heard of you ever.
Well, yeah, those guys have to worry too, because I mean, there are occasions where it's like all of a sudden, you know, their higher ups don't cover for them. Well, you know, now I mean, they really hung it out to dry now. It's like,
oh, look at what was it, Rick Ross?
You know?
What is it? Was it Rick Ross, the drug dealer out in?
Yeah.
Fuck, I forget who it was, but either way, he was getting, like, when people say, oh, they supplied the hood with crack, this is where that whole story came from. So he was getting, like, you know, being told what to do, you know, where to go, what, you know, the drugs and everything from CIA informants. And nobody really, like, believed it. Well, I guess there was, like, an indictment of someone else, and then things that he had written that said all of their names, the places, where they were, whatever, and then, you know, they completely deny the story, but they also let him out of prison to not talk about it.
Yep.
And I think it's Rick Ross. Don't quote me on it because there's a couple of the guys that have. It's a very similar story. The same operation went on across the United States, but that's where that comes from.
Yeah, he was just one of many big suppliers. He just happened to get caught, and it all got exposed. But they're all over.
Yeah,
the place.
And it was when they arrested, not arrested, when they killed. Come on, the Pablo Escobar. Him and Pablo Escobar and all of these guys shared the same like distributors and contacts inside of the government. Truth is, you can't sell drugs in a large quantity without the government getting their piece. You either get it from them or do it for them, right? That's the only way that it gets in and out and done in the U.S., right? And these guys all had those same set of government connections. So like all of that happened. Escobar, the drug, the drugs for guns, Contra scandals, all of that shit had to do with the same group of operations and individuals. The CIA, as always. Once again, Venezuela, South America.
Yep. They've been down there getting ready for 30, 40 years, man. I mean, they started stirring it up, getting ready a long time ago.
You might as well pay them off to start with, or offer them a cut anyways.
Well, yeah, except you're always going to be the guy that at any time, if their bosses say, hey, look, we need to shake some people down, well, you're going to be on the list because who are they going to shake down except the guys that they do business with, right?
The middleman.
So, yeah, I mean, you're just a true pawn in the game, man. I mean, if you make it through that death style, then you're just one lucky son of a bitch, because there's no honor anywhere in that. It's the code of thieves.
Yeah, if that. I wish they did. I mean, there is one code, and that's just the make money. And they've only got like 4 industries that they control. So,
well,
we do like. I really do like. We need to kind of go back to to Assange at some point. I mean, we do need we got to get him out of there. We got to get him to a safe place. I don't know how to go about it.
He was denied access to his lawyers. That was the latest report. So he is literally locked up in a box with no help now.
So where are they transporting him to? Virginia, Quantico, Oceana?
Let me see. Yeah, the Daily Mail says Julian Assange has been stopped from seeing lawyers have been stopped from seeing him in the Ecuadorian embassy. That was posted like 3 hours ago. So I'm like,
getting ready to hang him, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well,
yeah, and I mean, Mike Khashoggi pour him down a drain.
Mueller is all over it. Right, like this has been in that the whole time that all this crap has been going on, this investigation has been going on at the same time by the same people for nothing else than, I mean, specifically exposing the Russian corruption and the political manipulation the world over by American companies, by American interests, by European interests, by exposing the truth. Right, he is being persecuted, whether you like the truth or whether you feel it's being used, by other agencies. What he has posted, what he has given to the world, was truth, 100%.
And this is a time journalist needs to pay attention.
Hearing with him. There's supposed to be a court hearing with Julian Assange, according to WikiLeaks post. Let me see. Ecuador's government has refused Julian Assange's lawyer, UK lawyer, and his Spanish lawyer, Artur Matiz, access to him this weekend, although the embassy is manned 24/7 to prepare for his U.S. court hearing on Tuesday.
Ta-da! You got it.
Holy fuck!
Yeah. And this whole time, they've been saying, "Oh no, he's not," denying it the entire time, and all of this is made up.
No due process. They're going to charge him for cyber espionage or espionage.
Oh, this is a time
journalists need to pay attention.
They're going to send him to Guantanamo, military tribunals. They got all sorts of look at what they did to Reality Winner, and then use her information to prosecute the president. Right?
Yeah, but the Russian interference isn't real because somebody who was an NSA contractor has already been arrested for proving that it was real. You know?
Yeah, why is Mueller, the guy who was giving uranium to Russians at an airport somewhere, why is he running a Russian investigation? Why is the fox guarding the hen house here? This is a total shit show.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so you guys, we're what, like 11 months, 12 months, it's been a year-long investigation, millions and millions of dollars. First of all, these are all government officials. Why does it cost so much to interview somebody, right? Why does it cost the American people $200 million to find out? You got to talk to them anyway, right? Why are we paying these people? On like the second part of it, it was like a 2-month investigation for the entire fucking 9/11 investigation, right? To uncover a secret organization, its leaderships, the list goes on and on, all the shit that they did in 2 months, right? And it's 11 months on fucking Donald Trump. Just look at his tax records. I mean, look at his money transactions, right? How fucking hard is this? He either did take money from the Russians or he didn't.
Yeah.
Mr. Skldowski sent you $1 million, or he did not.
Well, the other guy here. Now, here's another one that's coming up. I don't know if you follow, how close you guys follow Alex Jones, but Jerome Corsi is set to make a plea deal. They have squeezed that old timer so hard that he's actually going to plea out to something that he probably didn't do, just to save his ass.
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, I don't know the specifics, but most of the time when you take a plea, right, it's because they don't really have anything on you. They've scared you into, if you don't do it, we're going to charge you with this. Look, man, if you could have charged me with it, you would have charged me with it. You wouldn't offered me a plea. What are you, my friend now?
Yeah, it's just amazing. I see this guy's caving, and it's just like, and what I don't get is, why are they not getting any cover from their guy? He's in the highest office. He could end all this in a heartbeat. Why is it going on? Why do all your friends keep going down, Trump? Cohen, Manafort, Roger Stone's getting ready to go down. They're on Alex Jones' case, and people around him. It's like, where do the guys that helped you get some fucking cover, right? What's going on?
Oh yeah, he didn't even mention him. Like, that's something that I don't like. Whether you like,
this is what Democrats do. See, when they're done with you, they throw you under the bus. Normally, you don't see that from so-called conservatives. We're all good guys. We stick together till the end.
Yeah,
but not always. Obviously, here it's like, I mean, these are all long-time contacts. You're like, what the fuck is going on? How come all these guys are getting served up when you could end it at any moment? General Flynn. I mean, come on. It's a long list now. It's not just one guy and it was an accident. This is a pattern of behavior that's going on.
Well, I think where Mueller has the advantage is he's investing multi-millionaires and billionaires, right? If you look into any multi-millionaire or multi-billionaire fucking tax records, their financial statements, it's dirty. You don't get to that level without being dirty. You pay people to look for holes, to hide your money, to do dirt, to set up shell companies. And this isn't like this isn't like black money dealings, right? That's how the market works. That's how they set it up, right? If you have $1 billion, rather than pay taxes for it, you move that shit to a shell company in Vermont that moves it to a company in the Cayman Islands, right? So if you look into any of theirs, of course there's fucking stuff that looks dirty as shit, because that's the only way you get to that level. And it gives him an advantage because, like I said, if you look into any of them, you don't get there without fucking people over. Right? You don't get there without hiding money, without playing games. You can't exist in that world without doing those things.
Yeah, those type of people. That's true, because they will fuck you over. Those are the kind of people they are. You don't have to, you don't have to do it that way a lot of times, but they do. Let's just
Oh yeah.
People.
That's what makes
those kind of people. That's what they do.
Oh, that's what makes all of this is crazy. Is the world in general, right, doesn't have to be this way. Look, the military-industrial complex would make plenty of money without playing the games that they play around the world, to the tunes of trillions, right? The prison-industrial complex would make plenty of money without fucking over most of the population, right? There's all sorts of like these games that they play that they don't have to play. You know, your iPod doesn't have to be made by slave labor. They just have to take a little cut in profit, right? They don't have to use slave labor to mine the cobalt, right? They could mine it and still make great profits. It doesn't have to be this way.
Deceptive tactics and deceptive amendments is where they get it at.
Yeah. Is it The Art of War, right? Sun Tzu says that all war is deception. And then he goes on to describe like how to deceive your enemies, spies, this and that. And that all is true. Like what he says, if you can use that correctly, man, you're a boss. But under that, I've always felt that there was a real truth there. All war is a deception. Right? From start to finish, the people that profit, the people that go out and fight it, all the entire thing, right? People say now that war is a scam or a racket, right? But what he says, I think that's true, saying the same thing. All war is deception.
Well, it's necessary for the state. I mean, there are other things he said. You know, it's necessary for the state. And if you do go to
every
war,
single day,
it's not
if you blew up
prolonged
one of my
war,
kids in a school
because
bus,
it's bad for the economy and bad for people. You do it, you get it over with, and then you move on. You don't ever create a continuous state of war because that doesn't do anybody any good. So why do we do it?
Same with we haven't learned our lesson. Same with know the push to war or not to war has to do. Sun Tzu says not the strength of your army, right, but the people that support it. So the people back home, if they want a war and it goes on forever, they'll fight forever. But as soon as the people at home don't want a war anymore, and their soldiers are somewhere else, they have to come back. We see that in Vietnam, like Iraq, we pretty much had to replace our troops with drones, Skynet style, Terminator style, right? Just machines that run around murdering people in a wasteland, right? We build down this fucking line that we don't really have to do it, but we do it. As soon as we don't want to, as soon as we lose that. And look, Trump, for all of his things, he has never been able to get hold, no matter how scary Iran makes it sound, or this person, they haven't been able to talk us back into war really since we found out about 9/11.
Well, because we're pretty much at war with any enemy we can make up right now. I mean, we're already at war. The population loves it. I mean, you said it. If the population wants it and supports it, which they seem to, because they don't have any problem with it right now, then it goes on.
Well, I think like nobody was talking about arms deal with Saudi Arabia. Everybody knew about it. We talk about it on here constantly. Yeah. Right. About Yemen. Right. We try to get people on the ground. We're one of the few places constantly talking about it and bringing it. Until a journalist was killed, it wasn't on the national like radar. Now countries are pulling out to billions of dollars. About it, people are done with it. That whole support line has been like exposed. The bus we talked about that earlier. The bus of school children wasn't enough. Right now, people are like, "Oh, Yemen. Maybe we shouldn't be selling these guys fucking not because it was the right thing to do or whatever, but because there's this thing that anything that Trump does, you have to do the opposite of, and they'll take advantage of. And he likes Saudi Arabia, so the world will hate it. Doesn't matter which way it is." If he said he hated Saudi Arabia, they would jump all over it like they fucking loved it. Saudi Arabia's the grass. Yeah, basically. Everybody's got health care, right?
Yeah, basically, Trump is sucking fucking Prince whatever's dick, dude. Like when he said that shit. I mean, honestly, like really, like we don't need the Saudis. We don't need their fucking help.
The Bushes suck so much Saudi dick. They named him what was Bush Jr.'s fucking nickname by the Saudi Arabians?
I don't know.
Pecker Lip.
Oh, God.
He was part of the family. It was like Abdullah Bush. He was part of the family. We have been sucking that dick for so fucking long.
I ain't sucking that dick.
Well,
we're not even the bottom bitch. They don't give a fuck about it.
I mean, honestly, if Trump really thinks that a relationship between the United States and Saudi Arabia will keep peace in the Middle East, like, he's fucking stupid. Like,
I don't think so. They think that they have to continue to sell weapons to people to keep the war going. We could quit selling weapons to everyone in the Middle East, and that war will end real fucking quick.
He told you the reason. It's because it's like, hey man, it's like we're selling them too many weapons. They're bringing investments. It's all about the deal. They don't care about Yemen or all that. That's part of the plan too. They don't care.
And there's nothing. Obama sold him fucking weapons, knowing he was a genocidal maniac. Like we all did.
Yeah.
Like that's not specific. The only thing that's different about Trump is he came out and said, "Yeah, hey man, I'm gonna keep on selling this asshole weapons as long as he's fucking buying them." You know what I mean? Right? He's not hiding any of that. What he said out there is the same dance that every president has had since we've been friends with fucking. With Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, ever since Aramco, man. Where's that go back into the 40s or 50s? I mean, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
You know, I had a friend. I have friends in the Middle East, and they tell me that that these countries, a lot of them in the Middle East, the booming countries, they might look nice, they might have nice shit, but they're still tribes people, and they have tribes, and they still have these like wacky ass fucking beliefs, like where it's like okay to behead people in the middle of the fucking street. Some of them have like Sharia law, like these. Like,
it's one of those like, yeah, I mean it is like they do have different laws and they do execute people in the beheadings. We do it by police force. It's such a small line between the difference. Like, I guess you can't torture people in Turkey, but it's okay in Guantanamo.
Like in UAE, like they just in the UAE, like we thought that Dubai. I thought that Dubai was more civilized. I mean, not knowing what I was told, last week, but there's a UK student that was accused of spying, and he got a life sentence in a kangaroo court.
Yeah, I would say.
Look, yeah, he got a life sentence.
That would never happen.
Reality winner. Like how many? Look, they're arresting fucking. They're trying to arrest Julian Assange right now.
But the thing is, like I really don't think that this guy in the UAE, this student, I don't think he was spying at all. Like.
Well, I think most of the people that they call spies that you get to hear about probably aren't, because real spies are trading bargains.
That's true.
Real spies don't make the news because they know they can trade your spy for this spy, or even more important, this spy for information. They don't really, if you're a spy, they're not going to come for you. They don't give a fuck if you got caught. Like, they figure you've already told them everything they know. The first time somebody cuts off your pinky finger, you'll tell them everything you ever want to fucking know.
Well, I think the spy was the one who first started calling someone a spy, but I absolutely no proof of who the spy was.
Yeah, like if they're a real spy, we don't hear about them because they're much more valuable as a bargaining chip.
Yeah, that is true.
Fuck, most of the time we knew that we had high altitude spy planes, right, over Russia. They shot one down, collected the fucking the pilot, and we still said that it wasn't there. I have no idea who the fuck he is. What? A spy plane over Russia?
Plausible deniability. No. Plausible deniability.
Well, it's that rogue agency, the CIA. We know you can always point that finger at the bad guy over there, right? I mean, who are really just doing
rogue
your dirty work for you.
I like how on both sides they'll tell you that they're you know that they're like one of the most oppressive governments on the planet, and then they'll come out and tell you rogue agents. Man, you can't fart in Saudi Arabia without the fucking government knowing about it. What rogue agents?
He's got a point. Yeah. We saw that. We did too.
Oh, and I told you guys when we did. If people want to go back to our the QAnons, you guys like that, where you can put shit together in the future, right?
Yeah,
a couple of months
ago. I can't stand them.
A couple of shows ago, I told you, first comes the deniability, right? Then comes the cover story, then comes the fall guys, right? This is classic mafia mentality, right? That's what they do anytime you have somebody murdered. The fall guys are the ones that are next. So you'll have a small group of people, a couple, one high-ranking general, right? His family will be taken care of forever. They may execute him, that's fine. His family will be taken care of forever. Right, but he's the fall guy, and they're proud of him for taking the fall for the royal family. That's the way it's always been.
Yeah,
but that's the next step.
Yeah, you're like, it wasn't Prince whatever. It was his cousin's brothers, or whatever.
Well, that
Yeah,
guy
sure it
had a
was.
history. I mean, there's pictures of him back in the days with Bin Laden, and when they were, just the road guys in Afghanistan, holding RPGs and everything. I mean, he was over there.
Wait a minute. Are you telling me Bin Laden is not from Afghanistan/Iraq?
He's from Detroit.
Wait a minute.
Well, come on, you have to help your Muslim brothers, right? I mean, it's a jihad.
Wait a minute.
It's your duty.
Wait, how many of these hijackers weren't from Iraq or Afghanistan?
The ones that had their passport survive.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that was
the best answer I could give you.
It was okay because we were fighting the Russians. I mean, you got to go way back. 80s. What was that? That was the 80s.
Yeah. In the 80s,
Yeah, okay, look.
Russia was fighting Afghanistan. That was their Vietnam.
Yeah, they were working for us.
Yeah,
And
if
don't they
somebody
even
walks into
speak
your
Hebrew
office,
in Uzbekistan? Isn't Uzbekistan Russia?
No, in Uzbekistan, they don't speak Hebrew. They speak
they speak
Okay.
Russian.
yeah.
I'm a little lost in lingo here.
It's okay. Yeah, I know some
Well.
Uzbeks.
I think the technical term is global clusterfuck, but yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, it's all bad.
Do we have anything in the comments? I haven't been
on.
watching the comments. I need to go over here.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
sorry. I'm tweeting back to fucking Trump right now because he said thank you, President T. And although I am flattered, I'm not president.
You know what I just saw? I just saw a what I thought on our YouTube channel was a little bit of censorship live. That was crazy. Our screen went from what I'm streaming to something else.
Oh,
let's
that
see
sounds
who.
about right.
Yeah, I mean, we insulted how many countries by talking the way we did in the last 30 minutes?
Yeah.
I think all of them,
Yeah.
all of them,
Yeah.
all the people that that would do things like that, we have talked shit about today.
That's crazy.
We'll leave no country unturned. Shit.
What
I
do
mean, if they
have?
told us we had a strike, what would it be? I mean, we wouldn't even know. Shit could be
Yeah.
anything.
Somebody has.
Oh, really? Just
Somebody's
one
feelings
strike?
got
That's
hurt.
all? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we do have a strike on
Shit, I would have
YouTube.
said more if that was the case.
So what does it take to
You're
get two?
recording.
I mean, I do have.
Oh,
You can't throw me out. I'm leaving.
I do have some minor stuff. Let me see. Canadians. The first Canadian was denied entry into the U.S. for investing in cannabis. Though they're enforcing that shit.
But
So-
you can trade on American platform. I mean, it's traded on the Nasdaq. Like it's traded in New York.
It doesn't make any sense. So if you're in Canada and you're investing in the cannabis industry, you will be denied entry into the United States permanently.
Well,
That's-
good, because I am permanently denied entry into Canada.
I'd
don't
rather
think
stay
that's
in
fair.
Canada, to be honest.
Oh. Well,
Fuck USA.
the Brits do this
Bunch
every
of-
now and then. Well, the Commonwealth countries, I mean, it's pretty much all the same. But I mean, so what are they telling you? If you're a Canadian, what are they telling you? You can't go somewhere because of what? I mean, you're not even breaking the law anywhere. Well, on,
No, I
on
think-
either
well,
side,
look, I mean,
it's like we just don't
it's-
want you to go. Really? That's,
think it's quite
that's next
obvious.
level, man.
We need a wall to our north. I mean, that is more than
That's what they
Like,
want.
It's only a matter
But
of
the
time.
wall in the north
Well-
is to stop all the weed, right? That's what it
Trudeau
is.
needs
not-
to build it, though. Trudeau needs to.
I'm gonna
pay
throw
for
some
it.
seeds over that
No,
wall.
yeah.
He's the one that wants to do it. So okay, well, not do it.
No, we'll make Trudeau pay for it.
Fuck him. Yeah, I mean, it's your law. You're doing it to your people, so you build the friggin' wall. He's
Throw
not gonna
seeds
do
over
it.
that wall. You know what I'm saying? Shit.
Look, he's the typical what I call limousine liberal, like leftist fascist. Like while all of a sudden, at the same time he's against carbon and all this stuff. At the same time, he's taking over, like Trans Canada and merging, the oil there with the government, the pipelines and everything. I mean, he's the
He'll come and
epitome.
He'll come and stand with the Chippewa tribes. He'll come and stand fucking with all of that and give some fucking speech, and then immediately ram a pipeline and send fucking military or militarized cops to the fucking reservation. Fuck you, Trudeau. Fuck you, man.
Yeah. See, it doesn't
weed
matter. That's
smoking
why
hippie.
it doesn't. You know, at that money level, it doesn't matter if it's a right wing, so-called right wing, or liberal Democrat, whatever they call them up there. You get the same program. They're going to bullshit whatever side it is they've got in their camp until it's time to do a deal, and then they do the deal.
I will say New Zealand's PM didn't fold, man. Like, she didn't, no new fucking oil drilling. Like, she is fucking came down hard on poachers and fucking the works. It's really good to see, like, the opposite of Trudeau.
Yeah, he's still there to make money. That's why he's there. You know, he's the Canadian soy boy.
That's what somebody just said.
I thought he was.
It's perfect. Yeah. I mean, he fits in perfectly. You know, I hate to say that about Canadians because I know some good ones, but it's like, damn, man. You know, overall, it's like you guys gotta get the testosterone level up, and I mean, you gotta start giving a shit, man.
Nah, none of them. That's the deal. Like, none of them seem to have a set. Like, y'all won't stand up to fucking anybody, will you?
No, yeah, either side they won't, because you know when somebody flashes enough money in front of their face, they go okay every time.
Well, and I think and I know, what was it? They posted that thing where they were at some, like, all the world leaders were at some fucking meeting, and like Trump pushed his way to the front, but not like one of them stood there and was like, "No, man, get the fuck off of me." Right? None of them, not a single one. And like, okay, you guys can all whine about being pushed around or this and that, but at the time, you didn't say shit. You didn't stand up, right? You didn't raise your hand.
Just a finger.
Yeah, not even that. Not even that. Like, fuck, man, flick him off then. Just elbowed me to get in front. Fuck you, dude.
Well, he's more popular, but I mean, you look at the rest of the guys' numbers, whether it's Merkel, she's having trouble. Macron's way down. Trudeau's slipping by the day, you know.
I think he's super popular in fucking Poland. Is it Poland? Poland that went all fucking Nazi on us? Poland, yeah. Guys, are you what? Poland?
What did Poland do?
They want to build a new base over there, and they want to call it Fort Trump. I'm not kidding, man.
Did you know that
That's true.
two UK papers this week called out Trump as the dumbest United States president that America's ever had?
Now, God damn it, that and that honor belongs to George
the Independent. It was
yeah,
Independent.
Come on.
They called him the dimmest.
You stop that right now.
They didn't call him the dumbest. They called him the dimmest, which was which made it. I don't know.
George Bush Jr. ran 2 oil companies into the ground. Oil companies. Fucking oil companies.
Well, no, wait a minute, Terrence. Now Trump ran a casino into the ground, okay? That's
How do you
fucking
do that?
Impossible.
How do you do
that?
I can run a casino out of my garage and make money.
Yeah, casinos,
alcohol.
The algorithms on those digital games are, it's like the odds are like what 1 in 500 for the jackpot. So
I've always wanted to just run up to one of these politicians and just shout math at them and watch them look confused. I don't really do numbers. That's all fuzzy math to me.
I don't know, man. He also yelled at a judge, this week. He called him Obama
for
judge
being a
Obama
judge
for doing the proper legal process for asylum cases instead of just
Well, there was several of them. There was Roberts too. He went after a couple of them. But hey, the same thing. Obama did the same thing. That's what.
Well, I mean, it's not that it's. I like that Roberts got on and was like, "We are above the law. We can bull fucking shit, guys. All you do is fucking both sides fucking promote like all of these judges have weird leftist right fucking." You know what I mean? Leanings. Like these judges they don't like look at the letter and feeling of the law or any of that shit. They're fucking robots in most cases.
True.
Like, oh well, you didn't, like the lady in Florida, right? That rather than kill her psychotic ex-husband, she shot over his head. So like robots, they put her in. Nobody could look at that and be like, oh, it was a woman defending her house, right? In a stand your ground state. But like robots, put them in prison. Look at all the people that are in prison for fucking weed, and they act confused, like they don't know how to get them out. Oh, we don't know how to get them out. Open the fucking door.
That's when you know when you're dealing with people that are full of shit.
Well, yeah, I did hear about a case a guy who received 25 years for what he thought was a legal weed operation that he was running, and then he got charged with a manufacturing charge when the laws changed, and he's still doing 25 years.
Yeah, because they can't figure out how to get you. They can figure out how to get you back in, get you in there, right? Immediately, right? They don't even have to charge you with shit. They can hold you for X amount of time, this and that, and all the other things, right? All of these fucking reasons why they can put you in prison right now and not have to charge you with shit, right? Just throw your rights out of the window. But then when it's all like, okay, prohibition is over, right? Driving around with whiskey in your car, right, back and forth to a bar or whatever to deliver it is not illegal anymore. You get out of prison. But now they make it like, oh, well, we don't know. Your only charge was marijuana. Right? Your only charge, right? Not a violent criminal, nothing. Oh, we can't. 25. We're just going to have to wait it out 25 years. There's a guy in fucking in Mississippi that he didn't like murder whoever they said he raped and murdered. Like the DNA test like exonerated him, and they're like, well, you were like found guilty by a group of your peers, so you have to stay in prison even though we know that you're not guilty.
Yeah, somebody's got to catch the charge. Yeah.
Yes, like it, but it's and then to come out and say, "Oh well, we're not a leftist, we're not a left or right-leaning judge." Bullshit, all of you guys, and especially the fucking Supreme Court. Are you kidding me? When do you guys not bend over backwards for the corporations? When do you side with the people?
Yeah.
Name the times. I bet you I can count them on one hand.
Every time. Yeah, well, same thing. It's there has to be money involved. I mean, Roberts flipped from being against Obamacare to all of a sudden being for it. How did that just happen?
Money.
Yeah. Yes.
Money.
Somebody got to you. One or two things.
Money.
Either they probably money. Yeah, they threw a bunch of money up there, and you went okay, or they said, well, or they showed you a picture of your kid, and he said, look, if you don't do this, we got this picture of your kid. I mean,
they made an example out of that.
Yes, sir.
Guy who was working against DHS for the pharma companies. Hey, how you beat yourself in the head 25 times and call it suicide?
Oh, the HHS. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's a.
Yeah.
Oh man, well, only in DC, man, does that happen?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it seems like if you were in that position and you knew it, first of all, I'd always have some of my boys around me. And I would try, I would make sure that I'd have at least one or two that weren't always on the fucking level. And when those guys do come in and show you a picture of your kid, what do they do when you fucking beat the shit out of them? You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to kill you. I'm going to put you in the hospital for the next 6 months. You know what I'm saying? I will break every fucking leg bone, knee bone, whatever you got. I ain't going to fucking kill you, right? And you send that letter back to your fucking friends. Right? I'm not violent. I'm not any of that. But it's like one of those things. Like, why? None of these assholes ever have any background. Any backbone.
Never.
No, you said it right. Background.
That's why. Yeah.
Yeah, like where they feel that they could come in and threaten you like that, and you not be like, "Look, man, you better come with the fucking heat." You know what I'm saying? Like, it's one of those. Here's a picture of your kid. Here's a picture of your kid. Right? We're gonna put a hole through him right now. If you're all like, "Look, we will threaten your child, man. You'll never make it out of this fucking room alive."
Jesus.
And it's the ones that don't have a criminal record you really should worry about. Somebody with a record, you know what they're going to do. Somebody without a criminal record, they're more capable of getting away with it.
Yeah. Oh man, I got PTSD. I don't remember shit.
Clinically insane. I blacked out and just went to swinging.
Oh, it'll take a week to figure out, but that's what I'm saying. I have no intention of killing them, but when somebody put one of your kids' fucking things on there, they better be fucking prepared, right? Because I figure your next phone call is going to do whatever you plan on doing, right? I got to stop you from making that phone call. Right? In fact, the next phone call you are ever going to make, right, is going to be stop whatever you are doing. Pull back, right? That is going to be your next call. But none of them ever has the fucking balls. Maybe Jesse Ventura. You know what I mean? I don't know. He seems like maybe he'd fucking... Yeah, I think he'd probably have the stones. Shut the door behind you. But they
Probably
never
walk
do,
in
even
his
when
room
they're
and
in
see
the
it wrapped
power.
up in plastic.
Well, you look like, I imagine, like for whatever reason Bernie turned, right? Most people seem to think that somehow they threatened his family, but he was going to be president.
He got paid off. He went along with it. He didn't say a peep. He could have sued Hillary right then and there and jammed up the whole operation big time. He didn't say a peep.
Oh, can you imagine if he walked out and, gave his whole speech and said, and those are the reasons why I'm running as an independent, right? Boom! The world would have went nuts, but nah.
No. Well, it just shows you his heart's not in it. Not at that level. He doesn't. He wants it to be given to him. He's not really going to fight for it. And then, so if he can't just have it handed to him, he's just, okay, whatever. He's not going to fight for it. So
he probably figured out that two bigger fish were ahead.
Yeah, is it like, even then it's all like, for all of these people that are so power hungry, when it comes time to fucking take it, right? They back off.
Yeah.
Knowing that Bernie was knowing that Bernie is as popular, like the people that are in charge, that sit on these accounts, that pick presidents and do all this stuff, they knew how popular Bernie was, right? And if they could get him to play that game, they could have puppeted him doing whatever they wanted with much less resistance.
Yeah.
Well, you would have had another Florida situation, or one like you had here. The voting machines burnt down. Oh, the voting machines resell. We can't find the votes.
Well, at least he was in a position to make a deal. Like, okay, well, you can be the number one guy, but you're going to make me at least the vice president. I'm not just going to slide off to the side here. But he wasn't even savvy enough to pull that deal off, and he was in a position to do so.
It's what Oh, he had like so much influence that I mean, whether they realized it, he didn't realize it. It just seems like tactically, if you could pull his strings like that, which they obviously for whatever reason could with Hillary Clinton, they could have got so much done. And because it was Bernie Sanders, and because Democrats and we're all holding hands and all of that shit, right? They could have got away with it. You look, every single Democrat that ran, every single one said they would fight tooth and nail for health care, ran underneath, right? Health, Medicaid for all, blah, 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 blah. That was their only platform. And as soon as they got into office, they immediately said, we got to look at the numbers, pay to play, right? How much is this going to cost us, right? Let's make a committee, right? Remember when they were running, there was a totally different story. And I can think of like 3 or 4 people, right, that it's actually on their agenda. And they're all people that are not like long-termers.
Well, it's like Elizabeth Warren. I mean, the mainstream media and Democracy Now! Will defend her and her lie to the end. They're going to make up a story. It's unbelievable. It's just so they have all the same problems. The left has all the same problems trying to get something done through their people, just like people on the other side. Believe me, because Republicans don't give a shit about you. If it's not about making money or doing some deal, they don't want to hear it.
Yeah,
at all.
Well, that's what it's all about. Look, the tax breaks, they're permanent. All of the Democrats that are multimillionaires, which I mean, I think all of them in Congress are, right? They all now do not pay taxes at all, right? You see that money going back to any of their communities? Fuck, they could have paid off. They could have given Flint, like water filters to every school and not even dented the amount of cash that they have. But it goes nowhere but to their own pockets. I think in a lot of cases, they like the neoliberals, the Republican Democrats are more than happy for Trump to be in business. Right? He's doing everything that they would have had so much trouble doing. Whether it's oil pipelines, they can be like, "Oh, I'm fighting the oil pipeline." No, you're not. Right? You just have to stand up and act like you are, right? If you were actually, you can filibuster, you can do all sorts of shit if you actually want to. If the Democrats really cared about healthcare, they'd be like, look, ain't nothing getting through here, right? We ain't getting shit done until America has healthcare. Right? We've lined up filibusters for the next 6 months, right? We're going to slap hands
that's
and
actually,
keep this over.
I've been advocating for, universal healthcare for Americans for a while, and what America needs is we do need, we do have the money and the power to have, Medicaid or Medicare for all people, and use a supplemental. But I don't understand. I understand that there's more money in not doing that. But I mean, the way things are going, you know, with the Obamacare and the insurance companies, I know people that are paying, you know, $1,100 a month just for medical insurance. You know, and it's getting ridiculous
Well, I mean,
to the point where half their paycheck is going to medical insurance.
Well, I mean,
Welcome to
number
child
one,
support.
they're going. I think they do realize that we are going to eventually have a single payer system. So, I mean, on one hand, the insurance companies are going to try to suck every little bit out of that. On top of it, Obamacare was not our friend. Obamacare was not single payer health care in any way, shape, or form. So whether you like Obama or not, right, Obamacare is not the system that you are looking for. And it does fuck people over. It's designed by like it's
fascist.
The first year, the first year
it
it came out, it was great. It was fucking awesome. And it was fucking cheap. And then, you know, I bought into this. Like, I bought into
a promotion.
I bought into
front
it
loaded.
too. I bought into it too. But the next year, when my rates went up a little bit, I was like, okay, it's gonna go up a little bit, and then it went up and up and up, and I'm like, it got to the point where they wanted $600 a month. I'm like, this is fucking ridiculous. I don't have $600 a month to pay for fucking medical care.
It's cheaper to pay the fine.
Yeah,
that's right.
It really is.
Yeah, and now that's being put off. But from the beginning, it was fascist healthcare. You thought, see, this is what kills me. It's like nobody likes the government and what they constantly telling you what to do and all that. But then all of a sudden, people want free stuff, so then they want the government in their lives, in their health care, no less. That's what kills me. And then they give you this shitty plan that Obama went for. It was fascist health care from the start, and now you're seeing it. They don't care about you because it's all about the bottom line. But everybody wanted their free stuff, and they wanted the government in their health care, so now they're there, and it sucks balls, you know.
Yeah, forced health care, forced child care, and businesses are leaving. They don't want to deal with it.
They always fuck it up. That's what gets us like, why do people want the government in their business? Because they always fuck it up.
Yeah.
I need my welfare. I need my food stamps. I need my health care. I need my child support. Need. There's more money in. Yeah.
But it's one of those things you could feed every American, right? Every single American in just the prices that we spent on repairing the F-22s from the storms.
That's right. That's the tragedy of it. You could have all these things if you had good people who were running an honest government. They could do that for you, but that's not the kind of government you get. Well, you get a bunch of corporate scumbags that find a way to fuck you every time.
Wouldn't our workforce be more efficient? Would it be more efficient if the citizens were healthy and had affordable health care that was provided by a single payer that we let's say that they ask us to pay, you know, most places where they have universal health care, you pay $100 a month and you get really good health care. I mean, wouldn't our power force, you know, our workforce be much better if we had healthy citizens?
Even the Romans realized, right? Everybody got a stipend, right? Every Roman citizen got a stipend of grain or rice or whatever, right? Even the Romans, and what you just said there specifically about happy workforce and happy people, they realized that fed people, right? That happy people work harder, do more productive, all of those things. So they set up. Right, so rather, you know, money really in that way, international banking didn't exist yet, but they, you know, everybody got a stipend of rice, you know, and the stipend of food to keep a base level of food for people. That was one of the benefits of being part of the empire. Ours has, like, you know, we give so many benefits and welfare to people that don't deserve it. Fucking Shell gets billions of dollars this year. Right, all of these oil companies and fucking Walmart gets billions of dollars when they give nothing to the people and then make us fight over it.
Yeah.
Oh well, that mom's getting food stamps. Okay, she's feeding her kids. Get over it.
Yeah.
Is that really the worst thing that you can fucking do?
Amazon just got what billion-dollar breaks between New York and Virginia. I mean, what does Amazon need $1 billion tax breaks for? To build a new place.
Fuck! What was it? What was it? I forget which city they went. I forget which city they went to that was in the running. I want to say Salt Lake, but don't quote me on that. But the city was all like, "Oh, we'll build you an underground transit system, right? High-speed transit to get your workers from, the living areas to the actual, headquarters, the Amazon headquarters. Well, why don't you build us a high-speed rail system to get my ass back and forth to work?
Actually, Amazon.
Exactly.
Speaking of Amazon, did you know that Amazon's Euroforce is going on? They've been on strike since Friday in Europe.
Oh yeah, from the Black Friday stuff.
Yes, they told them. They basically told Amazon that they're not slaves, and they want better medical care. Or no, they wanted better wages, and they said that they're not slaves.
No. Well, Amazon's going to be pulling out of Europe because they're not going to put up with that shit when they can have slaves here or China or some other place.
Yeah.
Right? Well, you know how that's going to. They're not going to play the European game.
Well, that's the deal too. And this is, I don't know about all of Europe, but growing up in Germany, right? Walmart's tried several other of the American style super, distributors, retailers have tried to come in, and unlike Americans, there still is a lot of I don't know, like they only go to the same place to buy a TV, whether that's a mile away. Their family always bought TVs from there, or a couch from there, and they stick to their small businesses in a way that we don't. Even if there is a big, corporate factory somewhere, well, we've always bought our TVs from the Schmitz, right? So why would we buy our TVs from anywhere else? And on the same note, like if one of the TVs that you bought from them broke, right, they drive to the other side of the country to fix it, to replace it, to do like any of it. And that doesn't seem to exist on our side. If there's a hammer that costs 2 cents less, you'll buy it from Walmart rather than buy it from a mom and pop, right, store.
Yeah, they're very loyal to. Germans are very loyal to their manufacturers, and along those lines, you're right there. That's why they have a great trade imbalance. And like you say, we'll go for the cheapest shit. We don't care where it comes from. So we got deficits everywhere because that's what we're all about. It's all about the bottom line. There is no loyalty.
Yeah.
No, and you can't talk a Japanese person into buying anything other than a Japanese car. Same with the Chinese, right? Why would they buy an American car? Why would I support the American economy? But Americans, right? We will fuck over our own people in a heartbeat. Flint is a horrible situation, but the reason that Flint's a horrible situation is because the manufacturing companies and the car companies, right, were never loyal to their builders, and their builders were never loyal to the car companies. So you were building a Ford truck that Excursion that nobody was going to be able to afford or buy, and driving a Honda, and then wonder why your factory closes. When you're building trucks, where Ford used to understand that you had to pay your workers enough that they could build the cars that you were building, you could build the products that they were making, and they wanted to buy them. Now it's like, no, get the cheapest piece of shit that you possibly can and fuck any loyalty to anybody else. And the businesses are all like, well, just produce the biggest piece of shit that you can, right? They don't care anyway. And we get places that used to be the backbone of America's manufacturing that it's gone. You can't even drink the water there.
Yeah. It's almost like that was part of the plan to purposely hose it up and shut it down, because what did they leave behind? Obviously a lot of lead and other bad shit. It's all through the soil. So yeah, of course they're gone. They're not going to pay for that. They probably knew it was there and they just said, oh, the best, for the bottom line, the best thing we can do is just shut it down, go somewhere else, because we ain't paying for that.
Well, even like the nice houses that you guys see, a lot of people don't understand this. All of the land around Flint is toxic. So they built the workers' houses on top of the metal landfills and the scrap yards and all of the stuff when we changed from kind of the 50s to the 70s, right? So that's on top of it. That's always been the game. But look, in places like Flint, turn those giant factories into vertical farms. Right, they've cleaned out these giant factories with big open floors and big windows and all that. Turn them into vertical farms.
Yeah, didn't Elon Musk donate like $2 million into water filtration systems inside the houses?
Okay, I do have a personal update on that. So I do we are kind of in contact with Elon's people. whatever. But yeah, so the
Free energy.
deliveries for the schools, right, have already been made. So those are like either being set up, or I think the last time I talked to them, they were down to the last 2 schools. So like all of the schools in Flint have like drinkable, clean water from Elon Musk delivering water filters. The rest of the city is a different story. There's all sorts of reasons why that's happening, but that's just kind of the update on that specific project.
Yeah, that would be quite expensive to redo the plumbing in everybody's house. But if that's what needs to be done, that's what needs to be done. You know,
that's what they said too, which I was not as
I don't buy that.
Can't they filter?
There are no lead pipes. You cannot buy lead pipe.
Can't they filter it at the
this
source?
Country, you know?
Can't they?
And this is. No, go ahead.
Can't they filter it at the source? You know, to the point where they get the lead out, to the point where it's like you
can get filters that you put on the end of your spigot or in the inside of your house that, you know, at the last point filter it out so you can use it. You can do all sorts of cool stuff. At this meeting, I did not take it's too expensive thing seriously either. That's
no,
a
it's
cop-out.
well.
And the reason that I said this is I said, look, like, guys, make an Elon Musk for Flint GoFundMe, and it will be funded with the end of the day, right? You guys have the name and the notoriety. If you came out right now and said, "Hey, I'm making a GoFundMe so we can get this done," right? You would have the money to do it. And yeah, they didn't. They haven't answered my text after just kind of the.
You know what?
See, that's when it comes to the brass tacks. At the end of the day, it's all talk, right? Because blah blah, we can blah blah all day long on Facebook and do all the shit, but then it's like, okay, do something, and you hear things drop to the floor.
Well, I mean,
it's
where
incredible.
He got caught up, and I think, and what I've noticed is there's always this like pull, like from the times that I've talked to him, around him in the same circles. Right, it's always been that like his heart seems to be in the right place, and he's always hamstrung by these other ideas and the same like corporate people that are around those types. Where like he'll know, oh hey, I want to help Flint, and then immediately, oh well, the numbers and this and that. But he knows that that's not what gives him support at this moment. People are buying Teslas because Elon Musk is making them.
That's true.
Yeah, some people are very loyal to him, and yeah. Well, so why doesn't it get done? It could come out of his own pocket. He's got the money. Why don't you just do it?
Oh, they won't take the step. Like they won't take the step.
Well, because it's their money, and even if they got enough, this is how these people think. Unfortunately, they you can get a George Soros to get behind a bad cause in order to take over a government because he can make more money from that. But they will not give money to a good cause that'll actually cost them some money, even if it does the right thing. You never see that happen. If they can't make money off it, then they drop it. That's what he's doing. Soros. He's smiling at you when he does it, but he just dropped it right in front of your face. Like, now it's time to actually do something. Oh, fuck it. It's like.
Well, look at George Soros right now specifically, right? And the asylum seekers. All right, this guy now has spent millions of dollars. Our government spent millions of dollars. All of these people, it's $200 million for the fucking military being down there. The money that's been raised and how much in advertising that all CNN and all these guys. You do realize they could pay each one of the asylum seekers $100,000. You think Mexico gives a shit if you stay here with $100,000? If you really cared about them, it's 5,000 people.
Yeah.
Right, they spent more showing this huge problem than it would cost to just say, oh wow, you guys have had a hard luck. George Soros knows, like all these other people, what caused this problem, the same as we do, and say, you know what, I feel really shit that I had a part with that in the drug trade, the banana trade, the sugar trade. You know what, I'm just going to take care of this problem.
Well, it's like oil in the Middle East. We have spent so many trillions now. We've spent more money than there is resources that can ever be gotten to in the ground. What the fuck are you doing? It doesn't even make economic sense anymore.
Oh no,
it's
we're
all
spending
about
$6
control.
trillion.
It's all about playing games, but it makes no economic sense. at all. You could have bought the stuff from Saddam Hussein forever. He never cut you off. And it would have been a whole lot cheaper than going down this road for 30 years. It's crazy.
Well, we used to. Look at all the pictures
full of
fucking
shit, you know.
Dick Cheney, right? Shaking hands. Saddam Hussein had the key to fucking Chicago. Dick Cheney smiling away. Right? You know, like we used to, and that was Saddam Hussein, right? We used to, as long as he was selling oil, we were buddies.
Yeah, and then
we
went
figured,
then he wanted to go to the Euro, and then we invade his country.
Oh, not just that.
Well,
we made a country of in between Iran and Iraq, and then put a bunch of oil fields, oil pumps there, and then did what was called side drilling. What was it called? So basically, we made Kuwait a country. We just made up the country, put a bunch of oil pumps there, and then put the pipes in sideways to drain off Saddam Hussein's oil. And then when he moved his troops to take over your illegal not country that's stealing his oil, we invaded them. Hence, Desert Storm 1. And we didn't invade Desert Storm 1 to protect anybody.
No, he was killing.
Dropped in Desert Storm.
He was killing the Kurds for years, and we didn't do anything. You know, he was massacring the Kurds in Iraq. He didn't do it. We didn't do anything.
Well, but that was a good excuse at the time. It's like, oh, look what he's doing to the Kurds. Oh, we got to get in there, and then you don't give a shit about the Kurds, so you didn't do anything about it.
He was really hard on the terrorist organizations that are part of the Kurdish fucking government. The entire Kurdistan isn't a country.
Yeah. I know.
You know, so when we talk about the Kurds, yes, they do not deserve to be murdered or anything, or in any way, shape, or form.
I just don't understand why people
car bombings to terrorist organizations.
Yeah, see, that's the point.
Kidnappings, rapes.
That's the point I don't understand about governments calling the Kurds terrorists when most governments call on the Kurdish army to help fight the people they don't want to fight.
Oh, when you need terrorists between Iraq, Syria, Turkey, then you immediately go to the Kurds.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right?
see, if you keep oppressing them, if you keep oppressing them and pushing them down so they have nothing other than that as a job, and there's so many of them, I mean, it's a perfect plan.
There's 20 million Kurds, you know, spread out through Turkey to Iraq, you know.
Yeah, no, they deserve, once again, like, I get out, you know, the man-made borders just because your drunk English girlfriend, right, put a bunch of lines on paper, which is how we broke up the Middle East, right? Not by people, not by country, not by religion, right? We literally had a general's drunk wife, while she was drinking, draw the lines for the Middle East because she thought it looked pretty. Right, so once again, man-made lines, but no, the Kurds deserve to have free, you know, movement between the countries where they've always had free movement. But those countries are completely made up.
Yeah.
Well, that was by design. They purposely did that to induce conflict in every country that was built up. Instead of, like you say, going along the ethnic or tribal lines, you created the phony lines for the purpose of creating the conflict. That's by design. Yeah,
when people are fighting, it makes it much easier for you to take this shit.
Well, I mean, all the Kurds are asking, you know, when they fight their wars, is all they ask is land, you know. And Syria promised them, you know, something, and then, you know, the second they diminish ISIS's control, they buddy up with Turkey and start murdering them.
Well, we promised them the top part of Iraq.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we also gave them weapons too.
Oh well, no.
and then we screwed them over. Right? You forgot the third part. And then we screwed them over. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how it always goes. Yeah, it's just promises, and honestly, I don't know. It's like why other people or other countries don't see it. You know, it's just like, don't you see that it's like anybody that does any business with us ends up dying?
Yeah.
Or their people get fucked over real bad. It's like, why do you even engage with us?
So,
I don't know, man. I don't get it. You know,
look, there's some questions I don't have the answer to because look, you guys know my indigenous heritage, the water protector fight, and it's something that, you know, I've asked, like, eventually why every time these assholes bring you a treaty, you fucking believe it. Right? Why? Why? They've never respected a treaty in their entire existence. Why would you believe them now? Because they brought you a new piece of paper? Fuck.
Yeah.
Right? But every
it's
single time,
every time.
we buy into it. Oh, they got a new treaty. They said it's cool. No!
Yeah.
They're going to kill you and steal your shit, like always.
Yeah, but you can keep on fighting ISIS or the whoever it is at this time that we need you, you know?
Yeah, and as soon as we don't, I mean, come on, you're going to have to leave that up to local leadership. I mean, have you talked to the puppet that we put in power in Baghdad? He might want to give you some land. It's not up to
They
us.
tried that. They tried that.
They
tried that, and they tried that in Iraq, and it turned into a conflict. You know, where the
because
the Kurds,
you can't give away other people's land.
Yeah, the Kurds wanted a peace. They wanted the northern part of Iraq, and it turned into a conflict. You know.
Well, I mean, it's not fair. Like, the only place that we've. No, go ahead.
Well, I say actually you can do it, but you have to be a Hebrew who claims to be Jewish. Then you can do whatever the fuck
I knew
you
that
want.
was. I knew that was coming.
Yeah, I mean, right? Because it's your promised land and all that business. So, then it's okay. They're one of the few. Well, other than us, we do it on the grander scale. That pretty much just push everybody around. It's like do whatever you want. Then it's okay. And then it's the UN. Even the UN doesn't say anything. When has the UN stood up to anything we've done lately?
Nothing.
In the last 20 years. Nothing,
no, they
man.
don't. They don't.
Nothing.
And it's one of those things where it's like, oh, well, we have veto power. Okay, you don't have veto power anymore, right? If the entire world votes to stop murdering innocent people, you're going to have to go with that. Like to say that, oh, well, we have veto power so we can, like, it's once again, it's like a man-made idea. That's obviously wrong.
Yep.
That doesn't work for the rest of the world. Like the fact that you're in a suit, sitting in a chair, what does that matter? And we've got resolutions that have came up where the entire world voted against us. But yet the entire world said, okay, they have a veto power. We have to listen to that. Why?
Yeah. It's like, super delegates. I mean, it's like, what is a super delegate? I guess, because that's the same thing you're talking. It's like there's certain people that are special that actually have all the power. The rest of you guys, you're shit. You're just pawns in the game, and we tell you what to do because it's like it's the 5 Security Council countries they got the power, or it's the delegates that Hillary Clinton has bought off. That's where the power is. It's nowhere else.
Yeah,
it's pathetic.
Well, and they always use the excuse, oh, well, we have to do that because if it was one man, one vote, people would, I don't believe that, right? If it was one man, one vote be legal, and we'd have socialized healthcare. Right, that's what you're scared of. Right, if we had to vote every time you guys wanted to go to war, you would never go to war.
Yeah, the commonality in all of it is, well, one of the other commonalities, if it's for the people, you can just forget it. If it's truly and only for the benefit of the people, you'll never see it. It's not going to happen because they're all about making money off of it. If they can't make money off of it, then you don't get to have it.
Oh no, and they'll answer you like somehow that the profit. I mean, like you could care, not care. But how much is that journalist's life's worth, right? Or that when they come down to it, they'll pretty much come out and say, well, profit says it's okay, right? If money is above life. How much is that person's life? I mean, that's their answer to everything. The oil pipelines, slavery for building that stuff, our current economy system, all of that. Well, profit. Right, that's the answer to everything. Even if we're having a completely different conversation, and you can never get it through them. But what about the oil?
That's right.
What about the oil profits? They're not going to be any oil profits because we're not using oil anymore. Why can't you understand that? But what about the oil profits? We are not using any more oil. Figure that shit out.
Well,
but that's always the answer. Always the answer.
Didn't the government just have a report about climate change and saying how it's it was really bad?
There was a couple of things. It was like, first of all, it was all like, I guess, guys, better late than never. And second of all, like, way to go, Captain fucking Obvious.
Yeah.
Like the only people that don't that don't know that are being paid to say different. right? If you're not working, if you're
uh,
not Rex Tillerson, you do know that man-made climate change is killing us. Shit, Florida's underwater. Most of the fucking East Coast is flooded out. The West Coast is on fire.
Glaciers are disappearing. Now people during the summer months, can travel over the Arctic Circle. It's getting pretty bad,
Well, is that really
but it's not like it's even sneaking up on us at this point.
Well, trade wise, yeah, it would be an easier path, but it also affects the wildlife and the ecosystem that depends on that Arctic Circle working.
But once again, we went to profit. Like, the natural working of our planet outweighs money. Always. Money's a man-made thing. The money is worthless in the scheme of the universe. Right? At all. You can't spend it off of this planet. It's fucking worthless. Right? So to say, at what point, do you say, well, this profit is worth any, environmental system that we live on? Right? Life always outweighs profit. Always.
Yeah.
And to put them as equals is wrong. It puts us on the path that we're on to now, because we make it seem like human life on our planet is somehow equal to profit. The same way that we argue that like light and dark are evil, like they're yin and yang. But when you look up into the sky, you'll notice one point of light in a whole ocean of darkness. And when it's daytime, you can't even see the darkness. They're not equal. Right, you have to go start all sorts of things to fight, right, the goodness of the world, freedom, peace, all of those things. You gotta start wars, you gotta infiltrate, you gotta kill people, you gotta control the propaganda and the money, you gotta keep people ignorant for light, for goodness, for peace. Right, you don't have to do anything for that. Right, people's natural state is peace.
Yeah.
But they make it sound like they're equal. That's my little bit about that. I don't know shit, guys, by the way. It's just it's an opinion like everyone else. Everyone's got one.
Let me see. What do I have here because we only have 20 minutes left. The FDA is pushing magic mushroom treatment for MDD, or major depressive disorder, on a fast track. So we might see psychedelics in FDA manufactured medicine.
Well, and I know that there's been some really good studies done on PTSD. Being a veteran, I'm always looking at that. It's something that affects my life, that affects plenty of people's lives around me. And using psychedelics and using mushrooms, and in some cases, on a completely different study, using MDMA to work through things that would have been extremely hard for you to talk about, to get off your chest, to release, to any of that. And this seems to be an avenue that helps that. I know that low-level psychedelics have shown some real promise in treating depression and all sorts of Alzheimer's, all sorts of mental disorders.
Yeah, I also heard that they've been using it for people who are terminally ill, and it helps them ease them into dying.
Yeah, the next stage of life. I know that there's always the thing. It was the argument for, weed, and the argument for all of these is like, oh, well, they may have felt some euphoria. Dude, you're dying of cancer. I'm fine with you feeling a little bit of fucking happiness in the end of your life. That's what euphoria means. Are you seriously against people being happy right before they die? It's one of those things. If we have the ability, that transition can be very hard for someone, especially if they're fucking young. Right? Everyone wants to die an old man in their bed. If you're a young man or a young woman that knows that you're not going to make it, that transition can be hard. And these drugs, the euphoria that they give people some relief and help them move to the next life. Our ancestors knew that already. There were ceremonies involved with people that passed young or were passing young. There were, they knew that, these drugs could help you move into the next life. What you believe the next part of your journey is, whether it's worm food or an adventure through the universe, I don't particularly care, but those things help you make that transition. I mean, that's not like that people know that already. Like, we really don't need a FDA, $1 million research on whether giving something that somebody that's feeling down because they're fucking dying, something to make them feel better is a bad thing. Y'all are cold-hearted bastards if you think there's something else. No, you should die alone and angry, right, and in pain.
Well, they'll take your pain meds away.
As the good book says.
Yeah, that's what they've been doing. They've been taking away the pain medicine from everybody. Now they...
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of weird. So, I mean, there has to be a scheme here, because if the FDA... Well, I think what they're doing is, at some point, just like the GMO weed, they're going to come in and say, they'll be, Monsanto found something that's just as good as those mushrooms, so we got to get rid of the mushrooms, and we got to give you this GMO mushroom.
Yeah, we're taking away your painkillers. Here's some magic mushrooms. Here you go.
Yeah, that's going to just kill you and give you seizures.
Oh, yeah, with weed and even the opium epidemic with painkillers, they'll put people like, we came out with a new painkiller. What is it? Fentanyl. That shit's definitely going to kill you. Like, you may have had a chance. I'm
always doing.
You may have had a chance with the opium. In this case, like you would have been better to just smoke opium than you would have to fucking take fentanyl. Fentanyl will definitely kill you.
That's the thing, is like, I don't understand what's going on in America, because pain medicine has a purpose and it works great. I think that there's
because they're desperately trying to get away from the fact that all of the pain medicine, the horrible stuff, the kidneys and liver problems that they cause, and all the issues that they cause, you could have gotten the same relief from smoking a joint. And they fucking hate that. And it seems the more they try to go with that man-made chemical evil, they have to ignore what the world has produced for us already. And the truth is, the world has produced everything that we need on it. We've destroyed a lot of it. We won't look at it, but chances are, right, you would have got just as much relief and no chance of being addicted or ODing from smoking a joint to relieve your pain than you would to be taking one of these fucking medicines. And, like, they hate that. They fought so hard to make it anything else, right? To find some way to say, this guy died because of weed, right? And it doesn't. Like, you get the health benefits, the pain relief. Like, there's all sorts of fucking reasons, but they're stuck on that path.
Well, they even found a new kind of THC that it's in some Siberian breed. It's called THCV. And it doesn't produce the confusion, and it kind of has the opposite effect of weed, but still has the pain-killing properties. So
thanks.
It doesn't give you the munchies. It does get you euphoric, but it kind of has the opposite.
Sounds terrible.
I don't know. I mean, for some people, that use weed as as a painkiller, it doesn't work for everybody. But if you have like a different variety of...
I saw people's lives destroyed by that synthetic shit they had going around.
Spice.
Spice. Yeah. The JWC analogs. Yeah. That was...
You get Caltrop for life.
Well, most of those were just designer drugs, and a lot of them weren't even similar to that Chibnaka shit, and that stuff wasn't even similar to weed.
It was potpourri.
Well, yeah, they would spray it on the plants, and people would smoke it. They have a big problem with synthetic cannabis in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, that was where I was, and I mean, it was fucking bad. I mean, it was bad.
People are getting
they had a big problem with salvia.
Yeah,
and
I mean, I saw people.
Salvia.
It destroyed people.
Go ahead.
Yeah. What?
Oh no, I was watching a documentary, from on Vice about how bad it was, in Australia, but I didn't know that synthetic weed was even like a thing still, and I guess it is over there in that part of the world,
Yeah, it just it takes a minute. It takes a minute for them to. It takes a minute for them to catch up with a lot of these trends. Even when you saw like the dabbing and all of that stuff, it takes about a year for that to finally get over to New Zealand and Australia sometimes. And this seems to be one of those cases where just they didn't have any, synthetics weeds have been around in America for quite a while, and they didn't have anything like that.
Yeah, we didn't have like an epidemic like they do over there with it,
Well, there was a couple of things. First of all, they were real hard on weed, even though it's a huge part of Maori culture, right? Of hash oil is a huge part of Maori culture.
I didn't know that.
And yeah, they invented hash oil.
Oh.
So I mean, even in ceremonies and all sorts of, it's a part of the culture. And there was kind of a push. Well, okay, because it's illegal and blah 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 blah. That okay, you could smoke this stuff. And it just put a huge amount of the population over to it, and it destroyed people. And no like real knowledge. Like they all kind of started smoking it as like an alternative. Like this is okay, you know. I'm not breaking any laws. Everybody's happy, and then it just took over, man. It was kind of like it was disheartening to see.
They changed the name of it and started calling it K, didn't they?
Yeah, special. Yeah, K. They had all sorts of weird, like, little names, and then there was a little bit of an underground for it, but that's kind of died down, and just the biker gangs have went back over to weed. Nobody's buying it anymore.
Yeah. We have 10 minutes left.
Don't forget to spay and neuter your politicians.
Yeah. Remember I had uncovered a document. Remember I uncovered a Stratcom document on a military PDF this week.
I'm never going to get over that.
Okay, so apparently the Department of Defense had its junior officers write up a report on what they would do for a zombie apocalypse. Apparently our government spent money on a fictitious invasion from zombies, and I am not joking. This is from a military contractor. I found it on a military server, a PDF that was unclassified, and yes, they spent money on a zombie apocalypse plan.
Well, I think they've probably every conceivable like disease that they could have cooked up in some underground lab. They've already written shit up for. They're probably running out of ways that the human race can die.
I don't know. I just don't understand why we would waste money on such a stupid thing. You know, like
maybe there's a lot better chance of us being taken over by a zombie apocalypse than you think.
Or maybe they know something that we don't know.
Everybody starts doing bath salt, of course.
Well, there's what the oh goodness, what are they called? It's actually quite common in rats and cats' brains in the life cycle of this little neurons. What is it called? Prions. And basically, prions. And basically, most humans, right? Most people in America, because you've been exposed to cats have this prion in your brain. Right, and this pretty much its life cycle works in the guts of mice and cats. And this prion, when the mice gets in their brain, it makes them attracted to cat urine, even though they know that that's a pure death, way to die. And the mice will run directly into cats to be eaten up and complete the cycle. It controls their brain. They found that humans and crossing lights have a higher chance of being hit by a car because you cross the light, have those prions in their brain. So it actually may be affecting our behavior and you not even realize it.
It is.
And those are one of the things that you wouldn't even know in that case, right? In that when it comes to prions, you've already been infected with the zombie virus.
Well, that's true. I mean, that's what happens to the cat ladies. That really happens to humans as well. That you just get so much of it. It's in the cat urine. Yeah, I mean, you are being chemically attacked to keep them around. So if those prions,
I would say that, a mouse would be much more sensitive to it. If those prions were in your brain and you were literally surrounded by cat pee, even if it was in like a box or whatever, but where you could smell it, it may affect you on all sorts of levels. But things like that, when you say, okay, we're already all infected from it, it's a huge number, like up into the 90s of the human population is infected with it. You can only imagine, and you don't realize that you're being controlled by this little animal. Right? It's telling your brain to run across that street, and you do it.
So that's what they mean by a cat can steal your breath.
Yeah. It's weird. But it's things like those, like maybe the zombie apocalypse isn't quite you drink that last Diet Coke and fucking lose it.
Well, you see other examples of that. It's like, aerosol and airborne chicken shit, has if you breathe it in, you get stuff. Same thing with like rabbit shit. If it gets dried out and aerosol, you get trichinosis and some other things. I mean, so every animal seems to have, there's this chemical thing going on, like a protection in a way that different animals have, or that's kind of built in. Others are susceptible to it. So,
like a trichromatic dioxide.
Different animals have, or that's kind of built. A what?
Trichromatic. Got to do with the chromosomes.
Yummy.
The ammonia.
Different animals have.
Let's inject
Methanes.
human DNA. Let's inject human DNA and growth hormones into cattle and then eat the meat. Let's do that. Sounds like a great idea.
Well, it's like the dead animals being that they euthanize. What is it? There's a documentary on this. That's man, what's the name of it? Shit.
It's not from the McDonald's, is it? What is that called? The fast food documentary?
No, this is about it's about pets, and so they're killing the pets, and there's so much of this going on, and then it gets regurgitated back into the food and the stuff just builds up. It doesn't really break down fast, so you're actually continuing to build this chemical in the food itself because you keep feeding, the animals back into the food stream. It's fucked up.
And you can put, I know we're running out of time, you can put the little conspiracy quotation marks, but I think it's very odd that we know all the giant farms that were in the Carolinas and on the East Coast and how all of them were underwater, and then when it comes fucking turkey time this year, right, oh look out, there's salmonella, there's all of this, there's all of these plants and animals that are sick, and I guarantee, I know I don't have the fucking works on it, I guarantee a lot of those animals, what do you think they did with all those dead animals? They ground them up and turned them into fucking sausage.
It's Dead Pets Don't Lie. That's the name of it. There's a book out.
They just pushed them all out in the fields. That's what they did with it. They went in with bulldozers, cleaned it out, dumped it out in the fields, and let it go and burnt what they could.
Oh, I'm sure sometimes. I'm sure they did, but I'm sure they did all sorts of stuff that when you look at it, why is there all this salmonella on our salads? Well, because you took a bunch of dead rotting pigs and spread it all over your fields.
Yeah, but they do that with the shit anyways. The manure, a lot of these farms, they have the shit shacks, and that's where your manure goes, is right back in the field, because you got to have nitrogen and potassium and all that in the field.
Yeah.
Well,
but even then,
they've concentrated drugs and all the rest of it. That's what's wrong with the way you're doing, because you're putting it back into your food system. You're not really getting.
What is it?
Getting rid of it.
The Great Lakes have a like standard amount of antidepressants in them from just decades of people, being prescribed antidepressants and then pissing the water back out.
Yeah.
So there's a baseline.
They call this the Lake of Happiness.
Yeah, there's a baseline of antidepressants in the fucking water. That's not a surprise.
Well, that's where your crystal meth comes from a lot right here lately. It's from somebody else's own urine.
Oh, that's what I want. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That's the same. Like I never got into meth, and that was like any of those drugs, because it's just like, you made that in your bathtub. Nah, I'm good.
Well, yeah, I mean, some of the older stuff, I'm talking like 40 years ago, that stuff is killer. This new industrial shit they make with batteries and lithium, is like, man, I mean,
dude,
that's some
industrial
hardcore industrial
chemical.
anymore.
I wouldn't trust you to fix my carburetor, let alone make me a designer drug. Thanks.
I mean,
I need a guy in a lab coat for that.
Yeah, man. I mean, we were handling chemicals at work. It's like, I wouldn't want to be around that. Like, fuck, man.
All right, guys, we got 2 minutes, like a minute and a half left.
Oh God, what can we get out in that time? Fuck Monsanto.
Fuck them off.
Yeah.
Little mill ready to expels.
Are we gonna
there
start?
was. I'm looking into it. Apparently, Russian television, the Russian government, is saying that Anonymous Europe has been publishing documents that about some uncovering some psyop. I'm looking into it. Some people say that it's fake. I'm not entirely sure. I don't know who put the papers on Scribd. You guys heard anything about that?
That's new to me.
No.
Yeah, I haven't heard.
Yeah,
haven't
no,
heard anything
I'll have
about
to
that
put.
yet.
I have to look into. I have to look a little more into it, but I'll have more
I
information.
think we're about a minute out. Just for people that are interested, please look up your local Operation Safe Winter. I know we'll have some other ops come up that are very similar if they're in your area, but just know that, guys, it's going to get cold. Winter's coming. Nobody should be without food, water, shelter. The general stuff. So if you're not following us, follow another page. Follow me. Follow one of the guys, and make sure to keep up on that.
All right, and go ahead.
Blankets, MREs, whatever you can. MREs are cheap, $50 a carton, a crate. Yeah, you can feed a lot of people with that. Yeah, food's food. Beggars can't be choosers. Socks.
Oh, the MREs have gotten a lot better from when I was in.
Yeah,
like, I've tasted some of the new ones. They're pretty good. Yeah, they're
good.
Yeah,
I'm having one
they're
now.
pretty good. You want to stay away from the Salisbury steak. You want to stay away from that.
And the bacon, egg, and cheese. Oh, yeah.
So to our listeners, we will be back on Thursday. I will have more information about that, about what's going on with those PDFs that are being published on Scribed. For that RT is claiming that we did. I have to have more information on it before I can start talking more about it. We will be back Thursday at 7:00 Pacific time. I think we're having some guests. I don't know. I have to figure it out.
We're still working on that.
Yeah.
Guests get scared and run sometimes.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think at first, and then they find out who we are, and they're like, "Oh, wow."
Yeah, we don't want to do it. Yeah.
You guys are being watched.
So I'll thank you to all of our listeners. We'll be back on Thursday. If you want to see that PDF request, that FOIA request for the zombie apocalypse, I posted on Facebook. If YouTube listeners, you can go to Anonymous Bites Back Facebook page. I posted there. It should be the last 4 comments. But yeah, DOD spent money on some bullshit. And with that, I will run out with the outro.
Bum 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 bum.
Hereby declare this to be an unlawful assembly. I order all those assembled to immediately